It all started when I was 15 years old. My brother started dating a girl, and on the day he introduced her to our family, she came to our house along with her sister. She brought her sister, who was her twin. I was 15 years old and they were 16. My sister in law's sister became my lifelong friend. We became inseparable friends. We did everything together. We went through a lot. For example, yeah, the first relationship, the first job, the hardships, the sadness, we did everything together, literally everything. After that period, I ended up moving to another city, but we kept our friendship just the way it was. A lot of love, a deep connection with each other, truly a lifelong friend. I remember that when I came back from my city, it was a time when we kept missing each other a lot because sometimes our schedules just never matched. Sometimes she was taken while I was single, and when I was in a relationship, she was single. We just couldn't go through the same stages in life. But even so, we were still friends until she decided to get back together with her ex boyfriend. And it was like nice, totally fine, great, and they were in a relationship. Until one day, my ex boyfriend also decided we'd had a few on and off moments to try to get back together with me and all that. And he always tried, he was always like that. So we used to talk about our love lives. Since she had gotten back together, I went to tell her that my ex had started pursuing me again. He gave me a really beautiful bouquet of roses. I was happy, because in fact, I always liked him despite our relationship difficulties. When I sent her a picture, she acted kind of strange. She was cold, as if she didn't like it. That's what I felt. But then I kept thinking, is that really it? No, it can't be. She was happy for me. That was the feeling I had. And I tried to talk to her, and she was cold, she was distant, she was acting strange. She wasn't being herself. I realized she wasn't being herself. She kept asking if something was wrong or if everything was okay, but she wouldn't say anything herself. But I'm the kind of person who just I can't leave things unresolved. I need to go there and talk to the person and find out what happened to try to fix it or solve it or at least understand what's going on. So I invited her so we could eat, go out for dinner, and talk about it. And I told her that I didn't understand what had happened and everything. And she kind of, even then, sort of changed the subject. And after that, she just said she didn't want to be friends anymore. I didn't understand, like, why didn't she want to be friends anymore? What was that about? I was really like questioning myself. And by the way, our families were really close, right? Because my brother was dating her sister. So my grandma loved her, my mom loved her. Her parents loved our family. We were always together. We always had a lot of affection, a really strong love for each other. So it made sense that she wanted to stop being friends with me, but it's okay. I respected that. And then during that time some things happened, like moving away and coming back. And when I came back to my city again after I had moved, and when I came back, I started working at a chain of stores where she had just started working too. But like she worked at a franchise in a mall in one place, and I worked at another franchise in another store in another place. But it was the same chain. There was a guy who was a delivery person, and he made deliveries to all the branches, to all the franchises. He talked to everyone and all that. And he was always like flirty, smiling, and he was in a relationship. So I never really paid much attention to him, never gave him the time of day. I've always been more down to earth. I always take things slower. I want to be sure about what I'm getting into, things like that. I never flirted or got involved with someone already in a relationship. That's just not who I am. Until he went on vacation, and when he came back from vacation, he was single, no ring, and he came to talk to me again. Then from that point on, I thought, well, okay, he's single. He ended his relationship. Maybe I can get to know him. By the way, I knew he had just gotten out of a long relationship. So I wasn't going to get emotionally involved with him, but just get to know him. I don't know, chat, have some fun every now and then. Maybe it would be interesting. I decided to give him a little attention, and then we started seeing each other. We went out just a few times, and he tried to kiss me. Yeah, he tried to go further. We kissed, obviously, but he was always trying to go further with me. But I don't know, I still didn't feel secure enough to sleep with him, so I always held back. So for me, we didn't have anything, but for him, all he needed was my yes to get me into bed. But it didn't happen. We went out a few times. He invited me to go out with his group of friends. Until then, he and I had only gone out alone. I started going out with his group of friends. All right. We went out. It was a Friday. We had fun, enjoyed ourselves. All right. Then I went home. On Saturday, he just disappeared. I didn't understand why he had disappeared, what had happened. And I thought to myself, well, I have a fake account. Because to me, every woman needs to have a fake account. A woman who doesn't have a fake account, she's lacking information. So I have a little fake account that always does a bit of snooping. And like a tip for you ladies, besides having a fake account, also add the friends of the guy you're getting to know. Because there's nothing better than one friend ratting out another, especially if you're a woman that he also wants to hook up with, of course, on the fake profile. They accept you and you start being part of the community without them even knowing. Well, then, I went to watch some stories from a friend of his I'd added through my fake account, and I started acting in that way, the FBA, the way every woman has to be. And I found out from a photo that his friend had posted where it was his friend, him, and half of a girl's face. Guys, I froze when I saw that the half visible girl was actually my ex-friend. I already froze. They were together in the photo, and I was like, my heart was already like, oh my God, what is this? Like, wow, I felt really bad, but I kept it to myself. It's okay. He disappeared on Saturday, and on Sunday, at the end of the day, like at night, he texted me, showed up, giving me a lame excuse and all. Honestly, I didn't even give him any attention. I decided to block him and not talk to him anymore because I thought, I'm not going to give this guy any more attention. He was a liar. All right. Meanwhile, I kept watching my friend's stories, some other people's stories, and I saw her at his house, her spending the night with him, the two of them literally together. But it made me feel so anxious that I thought if it were the other way around, I would want someone to tell me. So I'm going to tell him. And then I decided to send her a message since she had blocked me everywhere when she said she didn't want to be friends anymore. I got another number and sent her a message. And I told her about what had happened and everything. She unblocked me. We talked again. She got very mad at him, said she'd get him in trouble at work and couldn't believe it. I don't know what else. That he was kind of with both of us at the same time, because I don't know, he was with both of us at the same time. Well, he called me, started trying to come after me from another phone too, saying that we really did hook up, that we really did sleep together. I told him, dude, you're tripping. I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to her. I blocked him on that phone he managed to reach me on too. I said, I'm not going to talk to him. I have nothing to say to him. I kept talking to her. And then we kind of started talking again. She said she was really angry that she wasn't going to talk to him. But then on the same day, a little later, I found out they were already back together, you know? And then came the most shocking part of all this. When, let's say, the bomb dropped and I went to talk to some people about it, I found out that actually the two of them have been together since before their previous relationship. Do you understand? He broke up but was still in the relationship. And before it started, he was already seeing my friend. Do you get it? And my friend, during these breakups and getting back together, he was seeing her, but my friend was in a relationship. She was dating someone, So, like, she was cheating on her boyfriend with him. And that's what shocked me the most. So, she broke up with her boyfriend. And so, during that same period, I got back together with my ex, who is now my current boyfriend. I turned 19 years old. And I stayed in that relationship. And she made things official with that guy, the one from work who got involved with me. He got involved to the point of wearing a ring and putting her name in his Instagram bio and everything, like really shouting it out to the world. And what shocks me the most about this story is that right now I'm still with my first boyfriend, the guy who gave me flowers, the guy who always chased after me, the guy who never gave up on our relationship, who always wanted to be with me. We have a relationship and it's calm and healthy. She's in a relationship with this guy, and my brother is still in a relationship with her sister. And now, after it seemed like a teen movie with drama, fights between friends, and even moving to another city, working at the same company, getting involved with the same guy, I found out they had mutual cheating. Yeah, I found out he already knew she'd known me for a long time. He knew we were inseparable friends and that we had fought. So he knew who I was, you know? I was the one who didn't know who he was. And he was already involved with her, and she had never told me about him. So, like, there were kind of a lot of mutual cheating there. And now all of us sit at the same table and pretend nothing happened, like nothing ever happened. And I really ask myself, is this what maturity looks like? Or deep down, is it really a snake pit where we've already hurt each other a few times and now we've just gotten used to the pain, you know? I don't know, but I still believe that life is playing an ironic trick on me. Oh, hi, Maquetes, how are you all doing? What a confusing story, but at the same time, so rich in details. I kept thinking to myself, and the fact that she gets bothered by you getting back with the person from your first relationship, there's something there. We still need to unravel that mystery, right? I was thinking as I was reading the story that your friend and your ex-boyfriend, who was your first boyfriend, might have, I don't know, gone through some situation together. And that's why she was upset, because I really didn't understand why she was uncomfortable with you being with your first boyfriend. If he hurt you and she was also trying to protect you, why would she be upset about that? Now, as for the rest, I believe that being mature doesn't mean accepting that your own boundaries can be crossed. You can have the maturity to treat someone well, to treat them with respect, to be polite, to be kind, but that doesn't necessarily mean you have to sit at the same table. Sometimes sharing problems, telling stories, laughing about life and things together, unless that really doesn't affect anything in the relationship. But I don't know if they're trustworthy people, right? Maybe you went through a situation when you were younger, but when you're truly mature, sitting at the same table definitely isn't what maturity looks like. It would be mature to treat each other well, but everyone in their own space, you know? So what did you think of this story? Leave it in the comments. Send me your story at historiascanaldeyotalobat1000.com. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Kisses, and see you in the next video.